So what do men need most? Men need nurturing. Men need unconditional acceptance and love. They need the chance to be known and accepted regardless of how much they earn, what their title and status and how much power they have in the world. They need to know that they are loved beyond everything, just as they are. Men need healthy social play and engagement. They need brotherhood. They don't need the type of brotherhood that annihilates others or gets wasted together. This is not the kind of brotherhood I'm talking about. When we look at tribal culture, what we see is that men in tribal culture help each other develop physical strength, agility, knowing. They share skills. They develop one another in ways that help them further the tribe and not just themselves. And this is the difference. Men in our culture, they're taught narcissism. They're taught self-interest. But when you look at tribal culture, men are taught to be accountable, socially responsible. They're taught to play in healthy ways that can give them knowledge and skills. Men also need time with themselves. They need time to be in a situation where there's not demands, where there's not people having expectations all around them, where they can be in silence and they can be in peace and they don't have a schedule every second of the day. Men need calm, loving partners who will listen and be present with them as they unburden themselves and their heart. They need people who can hear what their suffering is. They need people who can feel how they need to be loved and nurtured and know that that is something that you want to encourage for him. And men need to know how to nurture themselves and feel compassion for themselves rather than self-hatred and deprecation and failure. There's so much shame that a man can feel when he feels that he's a failure. There are so many ways that a man can shut down psychologically and emotionally their best moments for growth because they will perceive something that is just a false doctrine. Failure is a false doctrine. There is no such thing. There's only trying. There's only learning and growth. It's really important for us to help men understand that they are free to develop themselves in a way that has nothing to do with their performance, and that their validity is not tied to their performance. Men, you are valid. You are a beautiful human being. You're a beautiful soul. You do not have to perform for validation. You are valid as you are. It is such an honor for a man to come to you with how they feel. And it's an opportunity for you to help them process what is available to them as an outcome. And you want all of these outcomes to be something that are not harsh, that don't create more pain, and instead will allow him to grieve whatever was experienced, accept and see what he did, accept that responsibility, and learn to grow beyond that. Learn to find a different way forward, one that will allow him to feel even proud of himself. But if a man makes a mistake and he comes to you and he owns that mistake and he tells you what he's done, and you see the sorrow in his heart and in his eyes, you hear the tone of the voice, you see that there is a suffering and an acknowledgement happening, then that's not the time to annihilate this person. That's the time to hold space with this person, to be present with the communications coming forward. That is not the time to focus on yourself and your own reactions. That's the time to allow this man to really grow spiritually and emotionally with you, to tell you the truth and why he made these decisions and what he's suffering from, so that you together can make a decision to help heal that suffering and close that gap. Any mistake a human being makes can be forgiven, it can be understood, and you can move beyond it. But what's important to understand is that men are suffering at incredible levels, and they don't necessarily know how to fix that because they've been conditioned to shut off their emotions and perform for validation. And that way of working with a human being just creates a machine It creates something that will eventually break down and break apart and won't really know what went wrong. No matter how powerful a person is, no matter how wealthy a person is, no matter how rich or poor a person is, every single human being on this planet has the same needs. The needs for self-love, validation, unconditional acceptance of themselves and to be accepted. And no matter what is in your bank account, you need to know that your emotions matter and that your feelings matter, and that whatever you feel is absolutely valid, and there's a process that you can take to help yourself know yourself more intimately and empathically.